Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Quake Pro League, where we move into another bust-up of a game tonight, as, of course, the brawl for the belt here throughout the Quake Pro League rages on in our online season. Harry, we're now slipping into Spart1e versus Av3k. Quite an interesting one between these two old-school legends.
Yeah, Avic's been playing really well throughout the course of the Pro Leagues. Had some ups and downs here and there, but Spart1e, he had a great showing to start off with, but it's been slowly falling off. I think it was at the time where he actually played against Tox, where he lost 3-0. Ever since then, it's like he's not really been the same person. Like, week on week, he's been doing his best to try and at least make something happen, but he needs to start being careful now because he doesn't want to fall into that relegation kind of area. But Av3k, he's just doing the standard things he normally does. Again, another player who's been playing the middle ground in terms of what he's doing. But again, another thing would be the fact that he's playing on and off form. But we know exactly what he's like. I think he's been kind of left in the dust in terms of the map choices he's had. And he's not really had the map choices he even needs or requires. So I have to see how things will pan out between these two players.
Well, let's get straight into that then and see if that's going to be different this time around with a veto that we do have as the picks and bans are up on screen. So it seems like we're kicking this series off over on Vale to where we rounded out the last one. Hopefully this will be a little bit different. Galena versus Ranger, Harry, to kick us off.
Fail to start things off. It's definitely going to be an interesting one, but with the Galena, it's going to be a real pain in the back side, especially with the totems at the portals, etc. It's going to be a real nuisance. How Spart1e will overcome that's going to be another story. But even then with Molten Falls, now we've seen Av3k do so well on Molten Falls on a couple of times here. And then he's gone for the BJ pick, which is slightly different to what he normally chooses. But then again, Spart1e will have all the info he requires for Visor. But even with the Blood Covenant, pretty much the standard picks, no slash agencies banned by Spart1e. But we'll have to see what happens here because Av3k has been doing really well, but both these players are 5th and 6th in the table, and they need to be cautious about what needs to be done because if they don't want to start slowly falling into that relegation kind of zone, I don't think these two will. They've both been playing out of their minds for the last or since the start of the season. But the players coming out of Challenger League, if you didn't see, of course, Garpy and CNZ managed to qualify in the end.
Yeah.
They're two players who are very, very good. We know Garpy from season 1. We know CNZ from only recently from season 2. So it's stage 2. So I don't think anyone wants to go around that relegation zone at this point in time against two very, very good players. So these two here, I think it's going to be neck and neck between the two. But I think Av3k may show a little bit more of a sparkle towards the end of each map.
Yeah. He normally looks good outside of the game and even better at times in the server, Harry. Ideally, it's more the fact that we normally question Spart1e a lot more, right? Because sometimes he can be a little bit volatile. We know how good he can be. Some of the rockets this man whips out are absolutely disgusting. His proficiency with all the weapons in the game is really far up there. But Av3k, it almost seems like there's certain matchups, certain times where he transcends his normal level and just absolutely pushes the boundaries, starts playing out of his mind. We saw it in Poland. We've seen it in key matchups versus very, very prestigious players in the Quake scene, right? Even here throughout this season. So hopefully this could be one of those games where he really does just fall into that classic Av3k and start playing like a nutter on the server.
Well, ever since he had 4 minutes remaining on Ruins against Kilson and he was 11-1 down and almost won that game, that just says another tale, really. If he played that consistently throughout across the board, then, there's no limit to what this guy can do. Spart1e, I think I've been a little bit too harsh against. Yes, he did have a great start to the stage and then go progressively worse as he goes from week 5 onwards. But his main losses, it's only because he's been losing to players against Kilson, Wenger, Tox. The usual names you see at the higher tier caliber of EU Quake. So it's completely understandable as to why. But now he's playing against another person who probably similar to his level, but Av3k, I reckon, will still have that flair and agility to try and close this series out. But we'll have to see, as it will be a fast one, to say the least, on Vale.
Yeah, starting off here on Vale then, let's kick this series off as it seems like we're ready to start this brawl. We'll be getting underway. Spart1e, of course, on the Ranger. Av3k will be on the Galena. So this Totem Terrorizer, what can she get up to? Kick this one off. Early on, they already have contact between each other. Good use of the LG and the rocket from Av3k to do a nice opening bit of damage onto Spart1e. Nothing too tremendous, but enough to at least buy him some time and force Spart1e back.
Seems like both of these players do not want to give anything away. And as I say that, Spart1e heard him, ran, trying to charge straight into him, but ate a rocket instantly, and it will be keeping that tome up. The Telly does have a second, but is going to place it in an unorthodox position, and it's just a matter of where Spart1e will find it. But very slow special on map like Vale. Neither player doesn't really want to give any info away. But the thing is, Spart1e knows exactly what Av3k is like if you let him get too carried away, which is completely understandable. So a change of pace from what we normally see. But what can Spart1e do here, as Av3k did eat a rail, but then again has got the light and the mega to help him go forth.
He's already instantly been able to take down that cheeky totem that he placed as well up on the ledge. Spart1e was able to sniff that one out almost instantly. So some of the shenanigans that Av3k will be busting out have already been countered here by Spart1e. Av3k, talking of shenanigans, not realizing that Spart1e was just tucked, hiding in the corner, waiting for the opportune moment to strike and get his claws out. There's a little bit of damage, but the smooth moves from Av3k are really the key point on that one. Kept on moving. Oh, with the LG. Bounces himself towards the mega, an incredibly timed rocket, and that is the opening frag of the game, found just before the 2-minute mark.
Now Av3k has gone back to his usual style. He is trying to play aggro, but Spart1e's too passive for that, and he's just waiting for any opportunity. You saw earlier he was hiding away in that cubby, but it looks like Spart1e has caught him off guard. Only slightly, but Av3k's decided to fight back. Does have a decentish stack, but Spart1e's trying to do everything he can to try and push in, but he won't, as Av3k may be able to get the advantage here. He just gives one decent rocket, but decides to leave him be for the time being, which is totally understandable.
Av3k turns the corner, drops the totem down, firing out these warning rockets. A lot of connections, but it won't matter when Spart1e goes for the confidence ball, uses that dire orb, launches himself up close and personal, and wins that brawl of a ferocious fight. Nicely timed rocket straight into the body, just leaving some mere stubs behind where Av3k's body used to be.
Spart1e just doing a number on Av3k at this moment in time. And it's weird because Spart1e likes the high-paced momentum games. It's quite weird to see him wait for Av3k to make the first move. That's a beautiful rail. Is he going to try and at least go for the second? He decides to go for the telly and do a little bit of damage, but hasn't managed to get any during those last couple of shots. But the mega will be coming up in 10, as Av3k is doing early preparations for it, to make sure Spart1e doesn't have a chance. But Spart1e has to be careful though. The heavy is coming up soon as well. So Av3k does have a little bit of time to try and contest it. Does try and go for it. And then managed to get the heavy anyway, but the orb comes in. Will he be able to finish him off? Yes, he does. Beautiful rail there from Spart1e.
Sickeningly good stuff. A lot of damage done. And a huge frag to take. Quite late into this game already. Firing out the tri-bolt shots, but none of them are going to be able to connect. Good timing at least though. Ready, lying in wait for that door to open. Opens up the line of sight and does begin to punish, stripping Av3k of a little bit more of his health. Spart1e, paranoid though, as he darts around up on this pedestal.
The angles for both of these players, but that rail does not help enough as Av3k still gets away with a decent stack and decides to contest the rockets early. And you can see when Spart1e knows the predicament he's in. And I love that totem placement as well, just to at least not just give him info, but just give him knowledge for where he could go afterwards as well. But misses that heavy just barely, but managed to pick up in the end anyway. And Av3k is majorly stacked. So Spart1e will probably have to hide away for the time being. But as I'll say that, Av3k knows his exact location. trying to do anything he can to try and get him out of that little stair ramp. And a beautiful rail again to finish him off.
It's a good kill. And finally, the lead taken for Av3k once more in this series. He's also able to roam quite efficiently and build himself up with some more heavy items to play with. Back up on the ledge, dropping down, firing off the warning rocket and following it up with quite an aggressive rail as he really begins to pack a punch. However, talking of that, it will be Spart1e that almost clutches away the frag to tie up the game, doing a ton of damage, really ripping his way through Av3k there with quite a punishingly good shot. Av3k tries to respond by just walking out and creeps straight into an incoming rocket that will blow him clean out of action.
The worst bit about that is that he had exactly 100, 56 HP, 44 armor, and it was only a direct rocket that could have killed him, and unfortunately it did. It's just such a shame when you see situations like that happen. But anyway, Spart1e ties things up. As the info he needs, he knows he is underneath him, but it's just baiting out Omega a little bit more just to delay the timer, to keep Av3k guessing. But just out of LG range, as he will be pushing him with the heavy, but this could be an opportunity for him to go through. And he's going to try and circle around with that nice rocket jump, but instead, Av3k backs away, gets the lights, but he will get the rockets in the process. Spart1e knows what he's up to, but he's going to try and back away. But a good rail from Av3k, as you saw there. But then again, the try back from Spart1e was just a little bit too much, as he will be waiting for the next Mega, and maybe even contest a heavy at this point, which he does. Does a little bit of damage to Av3k. And does a little bit more. Tries to finish him off, but it isn't the case, as Av3k just barely manages to get away again.
Oh, damage done to himself, though. Not going to matter too much here. 2 rockets remain. Creeping his way around. Starts to make his move back over. Grabs himself the extra rockets. 7 minutes and 30 seconds have passed here on Vale. And it is all tied up. Still waiting to see who will be able to claim himself the 4th frag to begin to again make themselves a little bit more of a lead. Spart1e lurking over by the open doorway, listening out. Will Rocket jump himself up over by the Mega? The timing's off. 13 seconds till it spawns in, so he has to fully commit to this fight and doesn't have a chance to replenish himself. That rocket has somehow not killed Av3k with 1 HP. He gets the kill.
Oh my goodness, 4-3 in the lead now. He still hasn't got enough of a stack to take another bounce, so he needs to be careful on his options on where he wants to flank and rotate round. Spart1e still has 1:40 left on the clock. Still plenty of time to try and equalise this matchup and take it to sudden death. But Av3k hasn't got really any totems to kind of fall back on. It does have 1 spare in the chamber, but doesn't decide to use it yet. I think he wants to try and put it in more of an unorthodox spot. Or just save it for later on when he does go into another battle, but gets another rocket. He's going to see exactly where he is. Backs off for the time being, and surely this is another frag. Yes, it is. Av3k, beautiful way to bait out Spart1e, but Spart1e needs to go full aggro now to get anything going here.
God damn, a lot of damage done. The super shotgun in close range. Av3k, you lunatic! My goodness, Harry. The double power of pain. He's just hit him with a big papa pump and won himself another frag. 6-3. The Polish Punisher is doing work.
He shouldn't have even had the opportunity to get another shotgun shot. I don't know what Spart1e was thinking. It's like he gave up a little bit. Just thinks, like, what else can I do here? You can see his mentality just went straight down, and it was this bit weird. Like, he knew where he was, but just like he stopped trying at one point. But maybe just he missed his shots. I'm not 100% sure anyway. But now Av3k is just going on an absolute rampage. 8-3 now, 20 seconds left. Not enough time for Spart1e to get anything going. Spart1e trying to make something happen, but the LG battle wins again by Av3k. 10 seconds left. But Av3k shows such a strong showing. It could have gone either way earlier on, but I think Spart1e was just a little bit annoyed with the certain scenarios he was put in earlier, but great stuff there from Av3k to end things in a nice high on the first map.
Man, Av3k has just done work there. He had a little bit of a luck on his side in a few instances, like going down to 1 HP and then still getting the rocket off to clutch that one out. But a lot of it was skill as well. Played very well over on Vale. Unfortunate for Spart1e, obviously having that one basically stolen away from him. Madness. As a way to open it off, we got a lot of interesting things from Vale. We now move on to something that normally is a little bit more grounded in the way it's played. Molten, never normally too outrageous, always tends to follow the same formula of a slow, more respected matchup. Although we have a BJ and a Visor in play.
Yeah, you'll be seeing. It's hard to say. Yeah, you are right. You do see a lot of slower matches on Molten Falls, but even then, you can see they both planned for the aggression. You know, for example, with BJ with dual wield, and you've got, of course, Visor with his piercing sights. He's going to be looking to at least pinch him or sandwich him or capitalize him in any way, shape, or form. So they both have the same mindset, just different champions on how they want to try and force out the first mistake on each of their opponents. But seeing how Spart1e played just at the end, then it was just a real shame. You know, you said earlier that like Av3k did have a little bit of luck on his side. He definitely did, 100%.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Spart1e also fired that direct rocket from an off angle, and it was exactly 100 HP. It was just typical. So I think they both had a little bit of luck on both sides, but it's going to be hard to see exactly what is going to happen. Spart1e's going to definitely be relying on those hourglasses as he pushes through. But yeah, this should be. I think Spart1e needs to be careful. Av3k is the sort of guy where it doesn't matter how big or small the map is, it can easily come back no matter what the deficit is.
Well, then, let's find out how this one is going to go. Molten Falls, our second game in the series here. It was a tight affair for the most part. Like, the early portion of that game as well was a much closer game than I think the scoreline really would tell you if you did come in late into that one. So, definitely could still be a curious state of affairs going forward. Interesting, at the very least. Now then, moving on to Molten Falls, BJ versus Visor. It's an interesting one. I feel like, again, really from what we've seen early on there, though, we do have to favor Av3k slightly, especially as well because the BJ has so much more to him when it comes to establishing map control just with that dual wield.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned earlier, like with this series, I always feel like it's going to be close, but Av3k will have that flair to try and edge him out, and he did during the end of that last map. But map number 2, Molten Falls, I've spoken about before. Av3k has a decent stack, got height advantage against the rockets. He's looking for the rail to make matters worse for his opponent. And we'll take the light as well. Seeing exactly where he is, gets the first rail on board, misses a second. Will he try and get the third? No, he's not even going to try and attempt it, as the heavy will come up in the next couple of seconds. That was a very aggressive play from Spart1e there, but the dual wield will come out. Will he be able to finish him? No, he won't, as Spart1e managed to clean things up.
Spart1e. Good way of starting this off already with that opening frag. He's going to be happy with that one. He looks to get a little bit more going as well, as he is doing damage, getting some beautiful pop shots off. That rail is going to already write home to Av3k the style of game we're going to have on our hands here on Molten. That'll be the heavy pickup, just as it spawns in. Actually using his sight instantly to get a read on what Av3k is up to and what shenanigans are afoot. But unfortunately for him, the rotation wasn't quick enough to get back over towards the Mega to deny it, but he does at least have the read of what's gone on.
Yeah, Spart1e was assuming that Av3k will just be waiting around for the Mega and just like be quite impatient. But I think Av3k just thought, do you know what? I'll push up a little bit just to see exactly what he's up to, get a little bit of damage down and then fall straight back. Which really Spart1e should have expected as well, because most players have been doing that recently. But right now, Spart1e's using piercing sight quite early just to try and get himself away from that really bad predicament. But as I say, he's got a nice LG, he's got the rocket. But Rail almost managed to clean things up there, but Av3k's going to try and build his stack back up once more. But you saw there, Av3k, so aggressive. He was definitely railable, but just wanted to at least see if he can contest the Mega, which wasn't the case. As Spart1e now is laughing at this point in time, as he will let Av3k get away with the heavy. So both these players will be level pegging in terms of stack.
Spart1e Listening out for the audio cues, spots him, fires down the rockets, quick switch to the rail, 2 beautiful connections. It's lucky that Av3k was able to pick up the Mega, or he would have died a few seconds earlier, but he does still fall. Eliminated by the lightning gun of Spart1e. Spart1e playing with that high tempo as well, as he starts to push in relatively aggressively straight off the bat, looking for the follow-up spawn frag. Oh, the rocket, Harry, what is that?
Oh my goodness, that was absolute filth. I don't think either player knew that they were going to just charge into each other like that. Great way to finish things up, but Spart1e 3-0, but he cannot have a low amount of tempo here. He needs to realise that Av3k is one of those players. He will catch you off guard. He can easily make these comebacks from huge deficits. Couple of his rockets there, managed to get the rail, and only one more will actually do it, but he's going to try and take his luck for the shotgun. Will he be able to? No, he won't, and Av3k with another clean rail from him. As to say that though, directly above him, the duel will just come out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Spart1e retaliates with a frag of his own.
Spart1e going quite aggressive once more, firing out those warning shots from the rockets, looking for the elevated angle, tracing him with the rail. Oh, he's gone for a 360, Harry.
My goodness.
Mum, get the camera.
Oh dear me, you love to see it, don't you? Spart1e increases his lead once more, not giving any fun away from Av3k. As he knows that he's trying to go for those rockets. Spart1e is contesting him, does up the rail. Needs to be careful here. Managed to get a second one on board. One more and that should do it. But decides to prioritise the heavy, which is completely understandable. Using the piercing sight to try and get off guard, which he will do. Should be able to clean him up here. Misses that rail, but it does maybe have a second opportunity. But it looks like he doesn't. We'll get the Mega. Leave him be for now. And we'll see if we can catch him around the heavy.
This game has already been providing us with many interesting little tidbits. Curious to see how the next 5 minutes are going to go, if the first 5 are anything to judge it by. Spart1e popping that site once again. But this time it will be very beneficial for him as long as he can time it right. Unfortunately, the Mega's been snatched, but he hits him with a midi and then dives out after doing a ton of damage onto Av3k. 10 seconds until Heavy's back up, but he's being able to create that space and at least keep Av3k back, although he's conceding control of it. He's willing to give it away, and he's going to have to. Av3k will drop down on top of it, take 3 shots from the tri-bolt straight to his lips, actually only the one that connected, doing 11 damage. Follow-up rockets coming around the corner as he gets chased down. Spart1e teetering on the edge. This could be another Mega gone. Sure, he's still getting these shots off, but Av3k's being able to claim all the major items. The only beneficial factor is that Spart1e's already so far ahead when it comes to the kills. He's willing to play like this, Harry, and just starve him out when it comes to the frags. Unfortunately, that one's a bit of a bold overcommit.
That was a real shame. Spart1e's had a much bigger stack going into that heavy fight. But yeah, like you mentioned earlier, Av3k was getting the items, but then again, Spart1e's defensive rockets were just next to none. But the LG comes out. Will he be able to finish him? No, he will not. But he's on 30 HP, now to 63. But at least he's got the Mega to give himself a little bit of leadway here, as he will be trying to rotate round to try and find out exactly what he's up to. But he's going to know exactly where he is after jumping on that launch pad. The duel does come out, but will he be able to finish him? That's the real question. He really needs to, and he does. Great rocket there from Av3k.
Rocketing himself around the corner with an LG in hand, looking to try and find himself a nice opening frag as he fires out those warning shots with the rail. There will be a little bit of distance created between them both, and a nice connection coming down as he does start to punish. Oh, the dual LG is out. It's time for some akimbo onslaughts. Will he be able to chase him down, though? Harry eventually finds him, but he's taking so much damage. And again, it's Spart1e that finds another frag.
He always had the advantage, but could never capitalize. It was very strange, to say the least. But look at this, though. Another fight already. Spart1e's going straight, and he knows how weak he is. Just manages to barely survive whilst getting the frag at the same time. I think he was on only 22 HP, but Av3k, you saw there, he, on the respawn, was thinking of going for it, but decided to just get the LG and back off for the time being. But Av3k's got a fantastic stack. Very healthy, to say the least. But it's gone through the portal. Spart1e knows he cannot take this fight, but might give it a little bit of a chance anyway. If he gets one rail chip damage off, he may have an opportunity, but it doesn't look like he can. The Mega's coming up in 10. The Heavy's been picked up already by Av3k, and Av3k has enough time to contest the Mega if necessary.
Ooh, all right. Rocket straight to the face. As Av3k eventually gets himself another kill, but is it a little bit too late? There's potential here that he could still come back into the game to be able to steal this one from underneath the feet of Spart1e, but it's got to happen soon. He wasn't able to get much damage out with a dual wield, and he's been slowed down at every turn. Finally, he's able to knock Spart1e off his feet, knocks him up into the air, and slams him back down to reality with that railgun. Now, he has to chain these kills together in relatively rapid succession, Harry. He's on the chase, but he's not landing the shots. He's taken too much damage as well, and Spart1e, with a rapid face, turns the corner and turns Av3k into mush.
I was going to say, and that's why they call Av3k the Polish Punisher, but he got absolutely slaughtered there. And that's a beautiful rocket from Spart1e. He just needs to chill now and do what he has to do and just play defensively. Av3k's so weak at this point in time, I don't think it's going to help. Surely if it's going to be a clean-up, misses the rail, it could do dividends for Av3k, but doesn't manage to clutch up. But Av3k is so weak, he needs to take anything he can get, even if it's just info, but it just doesn't help as Spart1e with another clean rail. It's been the talking point of this game. The chip damage Spart1e's done over the course of the entire map has kept Av3k at bay.
Man, it's been so good the way he's been playing it. Spart1e with the LG, quick switch over to the rocket, and we'll be able to eliminate Av3k once more. In the final 10 seconds of the game, it looks like this is basically set in stone to be his game. As I really don't see it going any other way now. There just isn't any time left. And Spart1e has been a huge thorn in the side there over Av3k.
He definitely is. The GG's come in, and you saw there from the damage count, Spart1e just under 800 damage difference in comparison to Av3k. Av3k, you could see the flare of aggression and the rotations he was making. It looked like he was starting to feel it slowly but surely, but I think when he was more than 3 frags behind, that was when he realized that it was just a little bit too much. I think it was when he was, 7-5, 8-5 down. You can see he was clawing back. He tried to catch him on spawn in the mega area, but it didn't really seem to help too much. As Spart1e, his defensive rockets and the chip damage he was doing to Av3k was just way too much for him to handle.
Well, that's the problem, right? Is basically every fight that we saw Av3k go into, he had lost all of that HP. And it didn't even matter that pretty much statistically, he was doing way better when it came to control. He was getting more of the major items. He was being able to pretty much whenever he wanted to take a heavy, take a mega. But even though he was getting them, it didn't mean he got any use out of them, because we saw Spart1e consistently chunking him down time in, time out. So when they did finally have a firefight, they were always in a position where Spart1e had the better stack. It's crazy how effective he was at doing that much damage from a distance.
Yeah, Av3k did have a couple of moments where he did have the advantage in trying to risk it with a rail, which, you know, you can agree and disagree. It depends on how much you're feeling it in the kind of the spur of the moment. But you saw from them that his gun skill was on point, but it's just a slow couple missed shots here and there. And he was, movement-wise, he was doing the right thing every single time. Spart1e was still playing quite aggro in terms of what he wanted to do and just make life so much harder for Av3k, you know, just picking up those light armors or just holding certain areas to deny him from any kind of weaponry in his arsenal. But we'll have to see from there. Blood Covenant's a little bit more different than that. Av3k, you know, he's been quite good in this from time and time again. We know what he's been like in the past. But the question is, can he actually keep it up now? You know, this is a series both these players want, because they're going to fall slowly towards that relegation zone. But I think they've maybe got enough points to at least stay up there and keep away from it. But you never know. It's still a couple of weeks left. Anything can happen.
That is true. That is very true. Final map of the series, though, between these two here on Blood Covenant. Doom versus Strog and Pika. Av3k, obviously, he's got the passive there of the additional jump. That's going to be quite a beneficial factor to him. Meanwhile, for Spart1e, it is going to be the movement from the Strog and Pika that could be a huge nuisance maker going into this one. Let's find out, though, as we are in and live with the action. Spart1e looks to open it up with a couple of bullets being landed straight into the body of Av3k there with the HMG. However, the response from Av3k will send him packing almost instantly, doing a nice amount of chunk damage to start this one off. Av3k overextends over the lip there and takes a fair bit of damage from the tri-ball early on. Not ideal.
I don't think Av3k expected Spart1e to hover around bottom mega for so long at that point in time, but it doesn't matter. Pika will take the strong arrow. He decides to pull back for the time being. But Spart1e, with the stack he's got, he's been very aggressive, but both of them are going to try and contest the mega in some way, shape or form. Gets the first rail. Will he get the second? Decides to go for the berserk, and he managed to take him down. That was beautiful stuff from Av3k, and now he's got that first frag on the board. Well needed one, of course.
Oh, yeah. It definitely was. It was a great way to start this off. Now for Av3k, 5 rails remaining in his back pocket. Does have that rocket to work with as well. Goes out with a railgun though, and the connection is nice to start it off. Well-timed rocket. If Spart1e would have pushed slightly further forward, that would have been a ton of splash damage done. He's lucky he did hold his push for a few seconds. Av3k trying to escape as he danced to attempt to get away. Will barely be able to breeze out of there. Both of them landing shots with the rails, though. And Av3k left relatively low. Up the bounce pad. And now needs to dart all the way across the pillars, back over towards the mega, as they're going to split the major items. But talking of splitting, he's been split in two, right down the middle with a rail.
My goodness, Spart1e, that was one way to definitely try and get the comeback and get all the items you needed. But it's just ridiculous what Spart1e's up to right now. All these unorthodox plays and angles and the movements he's taking has thrown Av3k severely off guard. But for the time being, the heavy will be contested. That was a beautiful rail there from Spart1e. He's trying to go for that second one, but he's just barely missing here and there. And Av3k could actually come on top on this, but as I say that, gets taken down. Av3k, beautiful rails from him. He had the heavy machine gun just to make matters worse. Chipped him enough so he could make him railable. But as I say that, Spart1e not in the best of spots that has come in. Really well to clean up. Just one more hit away. And as I say that, gets taken down with another rail. Beautiful from Av3k.
It is beautiful. And it's probably still just the beginning as well. Spart1e still trying to continue on and be able to bring this one back, though, tie it up. Sends the Pika in on an absolute marathon there, doing a bit of drone racing, Harry, as he'll crash it into his face from a miraculous distance. Goes back in with the rocket out as well, firing out the shots to really begin to punish, and that is another frag picked up.
That's one way to use your active ability, but yeah, that Pika just seemed like he was having a little bit of a wonder jack. Just wanted to see what on earth was going on and then just call it a day, I think. A bit of an early day, I think. But Av3k now,
like it.
Yeah, he just felt like, do you know what, why not? Let's have a bit of a giggle. But Av3k here looking quite weak, but then again, Spart1e isn't too far off as they both get light. And still on each other's backs. Av3k at least managed to get more rail ammo. And just trying to keep his stack nice and healthy. Will get the heavy though to make matters worse for Spart1e, and now he will be on the chase. The Med will be up in the next 7 seconds. He's looking to see what he can do. The Pika will find him enough information to know exactly what he wants to do, but decides to at least go for the Mega anyway, and Spart1e's going straight in to see if he can at least try and clean up. But Av3k is not railable, not as of yet, but the Mega isn't going to do him any more favours as Av3k for now backs away. And we'll try and get the next heavy.
Ooh. Firing off their warning shots, getting a couple of connections off. Nearly 5 minutes have passed already. It's gone pretty damn quick here on Blood Covenant. And it's still quite a low Kill tally game. Spart1e putting himself back up at the elevated angle. That rail would have been absolutely fantastic if he landed it, but he couldn't quite muster it up. Grabs the rail to replenish his ammunition. Sees Av3k going whizzing by. Tries to get into a better angle to again reinitiate.
We've seen nothing but filth from Spart1e over the last few minutes with his unorthodox plays, some which is very hard to predict. And it's definitely keeping Av3k on his toes here, as Av3k doesn't really have much information where he could be. But he can make the assumption that he will be trying to contest a heavy or hovering around that area, but doesn't know as of yet. I thought he may have had a little bit of a glimpse of him, but maybe not, as he's still looking on the whereabouts on where Spart1e is positioned. But both his players will be going for the heavy. The LGs do come out to play, but who actually come out on top? It looks like Av3k was just trying to survive as much as he could. But Spart1e will definitely win that bout by a small margin as he tries to restack.
Nearly 6 minutes now. Spart1e, a 1 frag lead. Could be a huge stepping stone for him if he can build off the back of this. Constant connections coming across there with a wide variety of weapons used out of his arsenal. Chasing him down with a peeker. Oh, and it's the re-peek that will secure that frag for Spart1e as Av3k goes swinging. Talking of swinging, the fists have come out and he's been able to uppercut him, Harry.
That was definitely a way to come back, my goodness. You don't see many people use the Berserk for the damage, but then again, do you know what? If you're in that predicament and you've got that spawn, why not? And he managed to get away with it nice and cleanly here. Av3k still only 1 frag behind. Could have made matters a little bit worse. I just see that Av3k is just trying to contest the heavy as much as he can. He knew he wasn't going to get it. Just wanted to put the pressure on and get as much damage done as possible. As at the moment, both his players are on bottom mega. Spart1e's trying to see what he can do, but Av3k's not in a position to fight here. He should be trying to back away as much as he can, and has decided to bait him out to make matters worse. But I love the strafing with the Berserk, but it seems like Spart1e managed to clean up anyway. And for anyone to see, it can be a bit of a predicament with the strafe of the Berserk mode, and it seems like Spart1e managed to clean him up nicely.
Six-4. Spart1e darting his way back over towards the mega room, as he will be able to replenish himself. Sees Av3k starting to make his move further towards him. Railgun equipped. Nice shot. Be able to take out a bit more HP off of Av3k as well. Diving straight towards him with the LG out, starting to crush his way through him with a high voltage aggression. The time is really starting to tick away now. If Av3k is coming back into the game, it needs to be pretty soon. He can't give himself too little opportunities to work with, as we are about to hit 8 minutes. Spart1e, good timing. He re-peeks around. Does go in with a peeker play. Again, that's 75 damage done from his aerial onslaughting friend, as he'll start to fully commit to the fight. He does have the railgun in hand, paranoid about where Av3k can be, but you can't quite track him down just yet.
Av3k now is trying to see what he's going to do with that heavy. He was standing close enough to make sure he heard the cue for it. But Spart1e, for someone with a 2 frag lead, he's literally here, there, and absolutely everywhere. And that first rail was beautiful again. He's trying to go for that second one, but decided to leave him be for now as Av3k gets away. But it baits out the mega, but will he be able to kill him before he gets it? No, he doesn't. It's Spart1e in a world of trouble. 59 HP. This is a rail we desperately needed, but it doesn't matter. The Berserk comes in once more. Av3k is only 1 frag away to time things up.
One-minute warning.
Av3k starting to push back around. Begins building himself an arsenal once again. 1 frag in 60 seconds is very easily possible. It would force us out to a sudden death, and the overtime would be when the game is closed. Spart1e, he can just run if he wants to. Is he even going to be able to do that? He's being chased, and Av3k is quick on his feet, tracking him down relatively fast there. He's able to get behind him. firing out the warning shots from the LG, tracking him down with that rail, being able to get the bare shots off to just somewhat put pressure onto him. He's got him so low. The rocket's fantastic. The mega health might just save him. Av3k, 4 HP, Harry. He's got to go for a heal, but he has no time. If he dives out, he will lose it. Runs in with his fists out, but he turns the corner into the tri-bolt. That's a 7-5 victory for Spart1e.
Oh my word, the Berserk came in, but he was only on 4 HP, and Spart1e was so weak at that point in time. You couldn't make that up. That was absolutely ridiculous, but Spart1e managed to topple Av3k in the end with that map 3 win, but you have to look at the damage though. 23 damage between the two. It shows their awareness was on point. Their map positioning was next to none. It was just phenomenal stuff from both those players, but it looked like Av3k wasn't really in for much of a chance. You saw earlier at one point towards the later stages of the game, Spart1e was kind of keeping that mega there just to build up a bigger stack, and you could say he was playing a little bit more greedy. But even then, Av3k just thought, do you know what? Why not? I need to take the fight one way or another. Took it, managed to get the mega one, but yeah, maybe if he used the Berserk just a little bit earlier, then maybe it could have been a different story. But even then, though, it was a great, phenomenal match to watch.
It was an incredible matchup there. But in the end, obviously, Spart1e coming out really throwing his punches tonight. He was showing no respect at all. Locked it down. Quite a clutch affair the entire time, though. So back and forth throughout that one. In all 3 of the maps, it was very topsy-turvy. Moving on from this, though, now, coming up after break, we are going to have Dewey versus Sib. Dewey, obviously, we know he likes that slow play style, and we know that Sib can be a showstopper when he has his momentum. Unfortunately, he's been a little bit stagnant recently. Now, we did have Freya conduct an interview with him to try and find out a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes. So why don't we get into that?